Tiia is the CEO and founder of whatcharity.com. But why don't you tell everybody a little bit about What Charity first before we dive into the drive topic?
Okay, so whatcharity.com is a charity platform at the moment. We list all the England and Wales charities on our site and offer transparent information about them. They have very kind of comprehensive profiles with their financial details, but also charities can really talk about their impact, their work. They can request money, time, skills, goods and services. So you have an opportunity to find all these charities on a map, and also their request needs and match with whatever you have to offer. Our site is being used by individuals, but we also have lots of corporate clients who we then do bespoke matchmaking, and charities apply to certain programs with their profiles, and we just streamline the whole matching process.
That's amazing. I remember when I first heard about this idea, I thought it's like LinkedIn for charities and companies meets some sort of a, location thing.
Yes,
absolutely amazing what you've built and you are building, and I'd really like to, as always, I love the backstory. And let's come more to the actual doing bit a little bit later, but let's start from from your turning point, because I know that you've been an entrepreneur many times over and over and had all sorts of career paths, but specifically, what was the turning point for committing and starting What Charity?
Well, I guess I've had several turning points because the idea is quite old. I actually got it 2007 when social media didn't really exist. So my idea was in the form of a portal, which I guess is a future trend as well, these portal type of solutions, which we are now building. But then the economy crashed in 2008, and it was impossible to implement the idea. So I just left it for a while. And then I guess 2013, when I got my third child, and I just still had the idea in my head, and I really wanted to do something purposeful. I just didn't see myself getting back to the property development business or any of these marketing, PR, what I've been doing before. And I just thought that, I still believe in this idea that, now it's time. And then I made the decision that we're going to move to UK. I was still living in Finland, and I thought that, this market is so big in charity that if I can make this happen, I can make it happen like here. And then also it validates the concept very well. I was very conscious, of course. I didn't have any tech background, and I didn't know about the market that much. I just obviously visited UK and stuff, but then I did a humble deed. I think I went to do my MBA for that reason, for 1 year full-time course, that I would actually learn about the market and getting integrated into this society before I then start doing anything.
And can you describe, so I know you carried the idea for a long time, you came up with all sorts of reasons why you couldn't do it, and that would be very easy because the idea was so big.
Yes.
How could a blonde without any tech background and so on and so on, the inner voice goes like, forget it, Tiia, there's just no way, and it's ridiculous, do something a bit smaller, right? So how did it come about, finding your drive?
Well, I carried the idea the whole year when I was doing the MBA, and I met a lot of people, and we already drafted a business plan with a couple of people and all that. But I was constantly relying on other people because I knew I don't know enough about tech and like platform business or anything. And so I was constantly trying to look for somebody to carry me, onwards. Then, 1 year of study and a little bit doing stuff for this idea, then I was free to implement. So then I started to implement, but that I was constantly thinking that, maybe I just partner with some existing company, and I just come with this great idea, and I said that I'm giving it for you for free, and I'm just going to come and work for you and kind of do this. And so I was looking for that kind of introduction for all different companies who could have been good partners, and even existing platforms who were, in my opinion, in very poor shape, but could have been developed into direction where I wanted to, take this idea. And so I didn't dare, I was constantly relying on other things. And then I joined Driven Woman. And we started going through the principles, what Driven Woman encourages people to start thinking about when they actually want to do what they love, and so on. So it was the taking the small step for big goal. And then it was evident that I had a PowerPoint slideshow of this, which was, everybody has PowerPoint slideshows. And, if you start distributing them, does the idea really come about and stuff? So then in the group, it was recommended that why don't I just make a video where I'm personally presenting this idea, maybe some animation and just an engaging video. And why don't I aim high that I will start actually reaching out to big names, personal messages to people, and see what kind of response I'm getting. And maybe the solution comes from there. And it actually came, but not in that way that, I expected. So I didn't have somebody, a big name to say that, oh, I'm going to do this with you and I'm going to give you the money or something. But it was totally opposite. I'm not going to tell names because I don't want to speak ill of anybody, but I contacted this quite large company with very good reputation, and one of the board members and who had extensive experience in charity sector, but also from the startup world. And I sent this great video, and I got a meeting, and I was like, ooh, this is fantastic. And I went to this meeting only to hear that this is such a big idea, such a complex web, it's never going to happen, and who does it serve? And then I also heard that this is not the startup idea either. And I was escorted out from the office. Literally, they hold my hand here.
Unbelievable.
And, I know. He was actually touching me, And I went to the lift. And when I was going down, I started laughing. And I just decided I'm going to do this. Because why would they see all the trouble to put me down and tell me I cannot do it? Why didn't they just ignore my initial video? And then I just decided to do it. I said that this is it, and that's it. Then and that's exactly 4 years ago. Yeah,
I just love that bit, and that is what this journey is all about. When you are rejected, people tell you no. If this is your thing. And we know if it is at some point, at some point we know, okay? If we just listen, we know.
Yeah.
And then you just go. And it's those moments that kind of break you, supposedly break you, that actually then you get rid of all the crap. Like you were saying that you were wanting somebody else to hold your hand or somebody else to do it or whatnot. It was difficult to kind of fully own it and connect into your own presence and into your drive, basically.
Yeah.
And when you got that no, and that really you had to then own it and say, okay, day after day, I'm going to show up and connect to my drive.
Yeah.
So,
and also, I guess, there are, of course, people, you have to reach out to people who you respect and hear their opinions. And I kept on hearing from people that, doesn't this kind of a platform exist? I mean, it has to, and you're just like, no, because our platform concept is very unique. And I'm not talking about only this product at the moment. I'm talking about the vision where we're going. And just to say here that we actually have all the funding to launch our next development stage at the moment. It will be done either November or January. And it will actually bring live the original concept. So I've been also very resilient here because we've been building it bits by bits and gaining experience. But this will go forward, and then everybody will see that we have this LinkedIn Tinder kind of a hybrid that will link all the companies and social enterprises, charities and grant makers together, which was my dream. But I've been getting so much support from people who I respect and who've been saying that this has to happen, that just do it. And you have to learn to know who to listen and who not to listen. Because there are always people who don't want things to happen for other motivations than for your benefit, you know.
Absolutely.
And and there, it's of course a difficult thing to see that, who is who, but you just have to rely on your gut, I guess.
Exactly. And it's your responsibility to seek for that support. It's your responsibility to start choosing the people around you, which camp they are in. And eventually you'll surround yourself not just with like, oh, I'm just going to support you, everything. Of course, you need critique as well.
Yeah,
you need a critique from people who have the right to give you critique. So I'd like to move on to, because now, of course, COVID-19, coronavirus, everybody's locked in, everything, what used to be up is down, and what used to be down is up. How do you think, because I've seen two kinds of responses, both from individuals and from companies. One is kind of to retreat, and it's, by the way, of course, it's good to retreat as well and take a little break. But now we've been taking this bloody break for a while, and it's coming to this point where some people or companies are looking at it as like, okay, let's wait that this thing is over and then X, Y, and Z. And then there is those companies and individuals who go, right, what are we building? What is the world that we're building?
Yeah.
What's happening now? What's my responsibility? What is my commitment in this very moment today? What am I doing?
Yeah, so on a high level, it's been said in TV and everybody talks about it. There's new normal. There will be new normal. Nothing will be the same or nothing, but most of the things won't be exactly the same. And it doesn't mean only like tangible stuff, but it means also kind of our values. Companies will start to look for more social value creation rather than just economic value. We see already how much this has influenced in environment, like in positive way, because we are not destroying it in that level that we used to be. So there will be a lot of this kind of value, high level practice changes. So there's a huge opportunity. I mean, nobody should stand still at the moment, because we already see that suddenly, like, let's say, digitalization amongst elderly, how, let's say, mental health conditions can be treated in distance, or, whatever the examples are, it's happening because it had to happen. There are innovations available if companies just reach for them. And that's why, I recommend every single company to now reach out and start to look for, let's say, charity partners, social enterprises who operate in their kind of industry and kind of around certain topics that they work on, and see how they could partner and see what the actual needs are, out there amongst people. There are a lot of service product innovation opportunities. You just gain access to hotspot at the moment. And therefore, I wouldn't stand still, and we are definitely not standing still. Even in our line of business, obviously we run a charity platform, but the platform didn't cater, as it is, the instant, need for the charities in the crisis. So what we did in 2 days, we developed a separate dashboard service where the charities who have a profile on our site, and they can actually have them for free at the moment, they can list the instant needs from companies or professionals at the moment in a dashboard service. And we also conducted a survey. We started it almost a day when the COVID started, and charities responded for 4 weeks. And now we have really, insightful data about the charity sector and what's happening. And we've been sharing it now to thousands of contacts in the business world actively, and we have conversations every day via Zoom and all kind of calls with companies, and kind of what should be done and how people can help. So this has already created a lot of opportunities for companies. There are architectural companies giving free work, software, digital advice, yoga lessons, you name it. And these kind of partnerships will create shared value for sure for both parties. And there are a lot of opportunities. I encourage everybody to just seek out the opportunities. And what I would like to say, like about individual people, is that I think this is a great moment to reflect and start thinking about their own dreams as well. And if there is something that is burning inside you, there might be a good moment now to start taking that further.
Exactly. You're talking about a mindset change. So
yes,
it sounds like it's not about just making an impact. It's about thinking differently.
Yes.
It's about co-creation. It's about, you talked about creating value. And because I think we've seen, and I know inside Dreamer Woman, and everybody who joins, they have something they want to create, which is not just making money, right?
Yeah.
So a positive impact and so on. But this goes now deeper. What I'm hearing is that it's a mindset change from this kind of linear approach. Yes, I will want to create something that will make an impact, whatever that might be in each individual's case. But what you guys are doing is just kind of going almost like with open arms and going into situations and partnerships before knowing exactly what's going to come out of it.
Yeah.
So co-creation, and everybody has their values and their missions, and then something will come out of that.
Yeah, and the thing is that you cannot define, if you do innovation, you cannot define the end result without doing it. It would have been done already. so that's kind of the point. So you have to give a chance, for things, and and also I guess in this individual level, I guess now it would be a good time. I'm not just talking about charitable work. I'm talking about just like exploring and kind of, you could focus on still things that you think you love and what is your passion, and whatever that is for anybody. But you just have to figure out innovative way of doing it now, since you are behind closed doors. But the digital world, online services allow you to do a lot. And maybe you come up with then like a solutions for that, for something that you've been trying to like figure out and make a business idea of or something. And I just see a lot of opportunities in this situation.
Exactly. To finish, I'd like to just ask you what you've learned on your journey. What would be the kind of biggest? I mean, obviously you've learned like a million things, but
yes.
Not like and not those like a professional kind of things, but more in the level of emotion, spirit, soul, how to carry on, because I know every entrepreneur's journey is full of setbacks and near death moments. So what would be yours, and what did those moments, what did they teach you?
Well, there's been a lot of moments, yes, yes, it was very hard to be funded first. Like the video or PowerPoint presentation is quite hard stage. You have to find people who will kind of share, your vision and stuff. And it requires like hundreds of contacts and hundreds of no's. So I guess, I survived that phase, which was really tough because obviously I wasn't even earning money. So I had to use my savings, and there's all the time I thought like a knife on my throat, kind of, oh my God, how long can I do this? And when is the right time to say that actually this doesn't work? It's not going to happen. And I really thought of that a lot. And even in Driven Women groups. No, that's the thing. So, and that was one of the things that came from the group, because, from the conversations, of course it's easy to say that, oh, don't have a plan B. Sometimes people have to have it. If they don't have any money with their, idea anymore, of course they have to do something else. But I guess I could see that many times that people actually had to give up their dreams because they had a plan B too early. When it became a little bit uncomfortable, the plan B was there, kind of like really easy to grab on. So, and I decided that I'm not going to have a plan B because I didn't have time or energy to start even thinking about it. And it would have been too easy to take that plan when things got tough. And therefore I just made a decision that I'm going to deal with this. And it wasn't always easy. But then the other learning is that first couple of years it was really stressful, and sometimes so stressful that I thought that can I even cope with this? But eventually it started kind of expanding my kind of boundaries, and my comfort zone area just like grew. And then actually things didn't seem to matter anymore. So all these no's or setbacks, I was just like, of course, of course, because I was so used to it. And I just thought, I cannot even care about them because it doesn't help unless there is something smart criticism or something smart. But if it comes from any of these kind of random sources, or this setback is caused by some incident that is not kind of related to the goodness of my idea or something, you just like ignore. And that's what I've been doing. So that's kind of has been the learning, that you just have to trust your path. And like I said, it's not always something that people can do, but plan B too early, will make or will cause that your idea probably will not happen. That's just my kind of thinking.
That really makes sense. Yeah, everybody talks about resilience, and it would be lovely if it was served in a spoon, right? You could take in the morning a little bit of, and you'd be done. But unfortunately, resilience only comes through really, really sticking to your path and going through all of those emotions, all of those setbacks. And the way I deal with it, I lick my wounds for an evening, and then I wake up the next morning and I dust myself off, and I carry on.
And what you said earlier was that, this reaching out to people, I also, that's very like a practical advice that, there are setbacks and things are not moving forward. If you start just hanging in your home office, I mean, now everybody does that, but, like in normal times, and you don't reach out to other people, you cannot get out of that sad mood, or this kind of a disappointment. You have to go out there, agree other meetings, meet these people, go into these events, and just carry on. And suddenly everything changes. After the rough day, the next day when you're in a networking event or something, you're doing something for your dream, then suddenly, everything bad just vanishes, But if you stay there worrying at home, and you kind of like, maybe I should think about it, and not doing this at all, it just doesn't help. So it is reaching out to people who carry you, because we are, as human beings, we need connection. And nobody, even though we are sole entrepreneurs like I am, we still cannot do it alone.
Nobody can do it alone. And it's not a weakness to reach out. And I've seen it now over and over again, of course, building Dream Woman for 7 years. And I built it for that purpose, so that women have the support, and they have the structures, and they have the people they can turn to, and they have the non-judgmental space where they can have an honest opinion if they want, but they can also have just a cry, right? Without any, like, sometimes you don't want solutions, you just want somebody to hold the space for you. And it's very important, I think, on this journey that we accept the feelings, and we go through. When we crash, we don't try to just like ignore it and wipe it under the carpet, but we accept the journey in its entirety, with the dark days and the light days, with the goods and the bads. And you need that support. You can't do it alone. So that's very important.
Just one thing, if I can say about the entrepreneurial bit of this, you mentioned that I have entrepreneurship like experience, and yes, I have, but very different industries like consultancies, like selling my services, you know. But you know, we need to be able to give up things if we become entrepreneurs. So you cannot expect to have the same salary and same benefits that you get from working for corporates for years. And I think that's also something that surprises people. That you know, you kind of understand that, yeah, we are setting up business and now there's not much money, but how long that phase actually lasts, and it requires, unless you have wealth on you, you know, it requires probably to give up certain things in your life. So you cannot buy certain things for several years. You cannot travel that much. You cannot, you know, and that is something that you have to be well prepared for. That it's a different thing than having the solid income all the time. But it has so many benefits that, of course, I encourage people to do it. But it's something that you should think beforehand, that how important, you know, certain as like material aspects and certain lifestyle is for you, because things can get very tough. Like I've been experiencing so hard, like periods that, you know, the money has been so tight that there's nothing fun about it. But you have to learn to live with that as well. And that's something to think about if one wants to become an entrepreneur.
I couldn't agree more.
Startup life.
A startup life, and you really sometimes have to dig deep to find that hope, to find that determination. But what I've always known since I started Women Woman has been that I'm safe in my purpose.
Yeah.
So once you land there, once you know that this is what you want to be doing, and it might evolve, but there is a certain mission at the back, and it kind of becomes more and more into focus as you move forward. You're always safe in your purpose, and you will always find a way, and there is no plan B.
Yeah.
I want to thank you. I was so asking people if they had any questions. So if you have a question for Tiia, please type in very quickly. I will be bringing on amazing entrepreneurs, carry people, change makers on this Friday. Find Your Drive calls or live sessions. Next week, I'm actually going to do 2 sessions, because on Tuesday, I have a wonderful lady from California, and we're gonna do a session 8 o'clock in the evening for obvious reasons, because I don't want to wake her up like in the middle of the night. And then on next Friday, we're gonna do a health and a little bit of yoga as well, because finding your drive, it's not just like a do lots kind of thing. It's very often a do less kind of thing. And our mental health and our physical health is also important. So I'll be mixing things up, and always put your questions into the comments so we can take them. And thank you, Tiia.
Thank you so much.
Were amazing nuggets here for anybody, whether on an entrepreneurial journey or any ambitious journey. Don't have a plan B when you can, and then go for it.
Yeah.
Good
luck, everyone, whatever your path is.
Exactly. See you soon. Have a wonderful weekend.
You too. Bye.